You reading them?
Hi, your daughter is now a boy, just letting you know. A school's casual phone call to a mother shopping in Waterstones that left her in turmoil and is a warning to every parent.
What?
Do you know what? No. I'm going to be honest with you. This stuff frustrates me so much because I hate when other people think it's okay to make decisions for your kids. Like they're just deciding, I've had this conversation with your kid and your kid wants to do this, so I'm allowing your kid to do it. No, I'm the parent. I raise my kid. I make the decisions for my kid because legally, that's the whole reason you have a parent or a guardian, to make decisions for you, because you're not capable of doing it yourself. And that's down to me. Nobody on this earth other than me can make decisions for my kids. So you as a teacher, you as a friend, even you as a family member cannot come and tell me, yeah, your kids decided this, so this is it now. How dare they?
That teacher is brave. I'm assuming that they didn't really think of the consequences of what they were about to say over the phone. If you call up the wrong parents and say some shit like that, you could start something that you don't want to be a part of. That is not your place. Keep your filthy paws off of these children, okay? I'm not talking to all teachers. There are plenty of good teachers out there. I had good teachers when I was growing up. I never had any of these sickos. But if you're one of these people that thinks you can tell a parent how to raise their kid, or tell a parent that your kid is now going to be this thing that they are not, they objectively are not. They even know how you're a teacher, and you can call a parent and say, yeah, your daughter is a boy now. Deal with it. So I'm sending Clark home to you.
You need to let your kids have, the teachers need to let kids have them talks with their parents and let their parents handle it.
I mean, there's a lot of parents that don't even handle that well, but the idea that you would call someone and say to them, yeah, your kid's this now, and that is it. Nah, fam, like, no. This thing, I think this happened in the UK because Waterstone is in the UK. I don't know if it's in America.
Yeah, it is.
Again, like, if you're a parent watching this, you need to go and have a chat with these teachers and tell them,
I'm telling you now.
Teach them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Do not talk to my child about gender ideology and any of your own beliefs. Do your basic job and go home.
Michael, my kids are getting homeschooled.
Homeschooling.
It's just too much going on out there in the schools these days. What they're trying to teach kids, the safety of kids in different countries, it's just wild out there. And your kids are actually just not in a safe environment. You think your kids would be safe going to school. They're not safe anymore. I'm homeschooling my kids, so that like I'll find them friends, but
yeah,
I can't be sending them to normal schools where so much stuff is getting imposed on them without my consent, and the dangers and risks of what they're being exposed to.
Yeah, you used to be scared to send your kid to school because of the school bully. Now you're scared to send them to school because of the teachers. And so we've got the school bullies and we've got the teachers now. It's like the parents can't win, and these poor kids that are victims to it can't win. Everywhere they turn, it's just crazy. But so I'll read the article to you guys. Obviously, this is going to be a painful read, but we'll get through it. Rarely did Olivia give her parents cause for concern. An above average pupil and fond of the outdoors, she was, says her mother, a carefree and fairly typical little girl. But it all changed when she started secondary school. Suddenly, life was complicated. She joined as many school clubs and societies as possible, including, at the instigation of a friend, an LGBT discussion group. Now, I have friends in the LGBT community. There's nothing wrong with being friends. Nothing wrong with having discussions with people that live their lives differently to you. The issue would occur with the kinds of discussions that you're having, and it depends on how old the child is as well. In secondary school, I don't really remember many like societies and clubs. That was more stuff that happened at university, but maybe things have changed now. But still, the context is what matters here. School is already a complicated time for children. I don't think you need to complicate any more with this sort of stuff. In the space of months, Olivia, not her real name, solemnly announced to her parents in a series of updates that she was first a lesbian, then non-binary, then finally a boy. Her last incarnation followed influence from a male-identifying friend. So that means that is a girl.
Girl, yeah.
Thinking that it would pass, Olivia's parents were indulgently tolerant. She was only 12 after all. Now, that's one thing I do want to say. Yeah, a lot of people I've spoke to that kind of, they have their head in the sands with this sort of thing. They say, oh, don't you remember the emo kids and the goth kids and the skater kids? It was all a phase. Except those phases, for the most part, were not damaging to these children. Psychologically, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They were just phases. I went through a stupid phase where I was obsessed with dinosaurs, and I would get my little Batman robe. I'd take out the thing that you use to wrap yourself around the robe when you're cold. I'd put it near my backside and I'd walk around like a T-Rex. I went through that phase for ages. I even did it in school once, like a moron. Thought I was a dinosaur. Now, in today's day and age,
You could identify as a dinosaur.
they would tell me that you are a Tyrannosaurus Rex, Mike, and it's okay.
And imagine what you would have grown up to be like if that was being affirmed to you.
Oh, I would have gone into. I would have been a woolly mammoth. I would have been a squirrel. I would have been all sorts of prehistoric animals that no longer exist. I would have finally landed on like a dodo because I really liked that Pokemon when I was a kid. I probably would have looked at Pokemon and thought, oh, okay, I can be a Pikachu or whatever. Obviously, this sounds ridiculous, but it's not that far off what is actually happening. So she then began self-harming, the result of bullying, says her mother, because she preferred her hair short for no other reason than she is sporty and didn't want long hair to get in the way. Okay, so I mean, yeah, bullying's already hard enough for children as it is. I don't doubt that there's bullies in school that push children for no reason other than they just want to be pricks to them. I was bullied in school. We spoke about in school. I wasn't bullied in the sense that like I was in physical danger, but I was bullied in the sense that I was overweight in school and the girls used to pretend like there was an earthquake every time I would walk down the corridors. It was quite mean. Luckily, since
Shouldn't laugh
no, it's fine. I laugh
because
at it
that's
as
your
well.
trauma, but
It's not even trauma. Half of those stupid bitches are fattened on job seekers now as it is, and I ain't shaming people that are on job seekers. I'm just saying they shamed me, so I'm gonna do it back to them. Like I was quite a strong-willed child anyway. Like it would bother me. Don't get me wrong, it would bother me, but I'd be like, do you know what? I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and Bruce Lee and that. I was like, I can be strong one day. I'll go to the gym. I'll sort it out. And I joined the martial arts school, but I'm not gonna use myself as like as if that's what all children are going to do. Some children will try to hurt themselves. They'll isolate themselves. So don't bully people because they're different from you. Even if you're in a school with a girl that has green hair and she's saying that she's a boy now, she's already going through something that is going to potentially harm her for the rest of her life. Don't add to her plate. Instead, what you could do is like try to be a bit more loving and caring because it's still a child, right? This is not an adult we're talking about.
who are you giving this advice to? Bullies.
Kids. Yeah, if there's a bully watching this,
Michael, bullies ain't gonna listen. Bullies are bullies.
no, it's not like you can get through to kids. It's not too late. It's not too late. Like I know some people that have been dicks before and they've turned it around. I was not always an angel either.
Yeah, but I doubt a video of you going, don't do that, is going to be like, they're going to go, oh, do you know what? Michael's right, let me not do it.
No, maybe not. Maybe my advice is too surface level, but like you don't want to grow up. You don't want to be the person that pushes somebody over the edge.
Of course.
You don't want to be the person where you come into school and you hear that so-and-so is off themselves because you have been pushing them down a road that was already difficult for them.
Yeah.
It's different with adults. These adults that are pushing this ideology, I have no sympathy for them. And not the people that are trying suffering with people that are pushing an ideology on others, that know what they're doing. But these are children. I think that you should take time out to talk to children to try and point them in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I always think before I speak, because before I say something, I always think to myself, how is this going to make the other person feel? And if I know it's not going to make them feel good, I won't say it.
Well, I don't live by that completely. Especially
I do. That's my day to day. Yeah,
that's fair. I can respect that. But for me, with children, I always look at them, even when they're really, really shitty. And obviously, if you kill someone, that's why I draw the line. I'm like, you've gone too far now. You know, they can throw the book at you. But before that, if you're going into school and you're being cliquey with your friends and you see the girl that's confused about her gender because some parent or some teacher has confused them, don't push them even further into it.
Yeah.
Show them that, like, we can all get along. You can be a part of the cool club, you know. Like, we don't have to look the same to get along. Because I remember there was a girl, I can't remember what, and I think her name was Anne Marie, and she, like, had really bad eczema, and her hair was mash up, like, really bad. White girl. And her eczema was really bad. Like, her skin was really rough. She smelt really bad.
She didn't seem like she was getting looked after at home.
Yeah, she looked like she was being neglected. And I remember, I'll never forget, we were in the, it's like, there was like this room we had where, I don't know if you ever did this in primary school, where like they had that big colourful thing that everyone would hold up and run underneath and then run out. and they told everyone to hold hands. I was standing next to Anne Marie. So like I'm not gonna lie to you, I looked at her as a kid and I saw her hand and I was like, oh shit. Because all the other kids in my mind had built it up like she's like some sort of zombie that's gonna infect me. And I looked at her and I already knew what she was thinking. She was looking at me and I could already tell, because I was in primary school, I hung around with the popular guys, that I was gonna power off or something. And I held her hand and I told the other guy that was on the other side of it to hold her hand as well. He was a bit scared of me, so he kind of did it out of fear of his own life.
Hold her hand, fam.
Yeah, I didn't say fam, but I said something along them lines. And I remember that feeling, and I remember like I saw she smiled at me, and it made me upset. Even now thinking about it, I feel upset. I don't know what happened to her, but she got bullied relentlessly because her parents didn't look after her. And a lot of these kids, not all of them, but a lot of the parents are switched off. They don't really know what's going on at home. And these kids come into school all mashed up. They got highlights in their hair. They haven't been looking after themselves. And then they get bullied even more. So if you're a kid listening to this, I'm probably not going to get through to you because kids tend to not listen anyway. But maybe you're a teenager and you think bullying someone in school, in secondary school, is cool. It's not cool. Also, they might have a big brother. They might come in and fuck you up. So
can I tell you my sentimental story now?
Go on.
So when I was in primary school, there was this guy in the class. His name was Jack. And everyone just used to, Jack didn't have any friends and everyone was quite mean to him. And it's like, I don't know why nobody liked him, but nobody liked him. And then one time we was playing heads down, thumbs up. And then it was like my turn to go and choose. So I chose Jack because I knew that nobody else would choose him because no one wanted to touch him. And I just felt really sad. I was like, he's not going to be included in this game. Everyone else is going to keep getting picked. So I went and picked Jack.
Yeah, see, that's inclusivity, you jackasses. That's what inclusivity looks like. Understand, like, and I don't expect kids to understand concepts of bullying or like trauma that people face at home, but don't treat people like shit because they look different to you. That girl that's suffering with her gender that we're going to continue reading in a second, she doesn't need you adding to her plate. Try to pull her out of the darkness because other people are pushing her further into it. Her anxious parents then found themselves powerless to stop teachers agreeing to call Olivia by her new name, complete with male pronouns. By the time she reached 14, Olivia was in the throes of despair and says her mother in an interview with the Mail on Sunday threatening suicide almost daily. Without telling her parents, the school referred the schoolgirl to NHS-funded child and adolescent mental health services and did so under new name, meaning even her GP, not just her parents, was left in the dark. That's the end of the story. So that's crazy. We've spoken to kids, right? I don't expect children to listen, so maybe our entire monologue about when we were growing up is going to go on deaf ears. But if you're a teacher listening to this, stop doing this shit. Teach them 1, 2, 3, ABC and history and IT.
Yeah.
Stop this gender ideology stuff. Stop confusing children. Stop telling parents that your kid is now something that they're not. And don't go and tell the doctors that, I don't know what their real name is, but let's say Jack, for argument's sake, is now Olivia.
Kids are not actually, it seems like they're not actually going to school to learn normal learning stuff anymore. They're going to school and they're just being exposed to a whole bunch of adult shit.
They're being indoctrinated. Yeah. They're being confused. Look, this is how you destroy a society. This is how you destroy an entire nation. You fuck up the entire youth. So when everybody grows up, they're either arguing with each other, fighting with each other, or they're confused. That's where they're going. This entire generation that's growing up don't know left from right. They don't know what's going on. They're not learning things that they need to. I mean, the education system was already a sham when we were coming up. I learned a lot of the stuff that I know now on the internet through picking up books and educating myself. I had good teachers, but a lot of them were idiots as well. But they weren't monsters like these guys. These teachers are monsters. Again, if you're a teacher, just keep your grubby paws off of these children and do your damn job. Stop telling parents all of this nonsense, wacko shit. None of it's real and you're just confusing children. That's all you're doing.